All right, good evening, guys. It's been a while I posted a video. If you've been in the Simply Pips group, you know we've been busy trying to build a larger community, which is not completely dependent on the charts. However, I felt I should take you through one of the strategies we discussed at the tail end of last year, the weekly trades, and let's see how it performed in the month of January. Again, if you've been following the Simply Pips family for a while, you understand I now favor strategies that more or less keep us away from the chart as much as possible, so we'll have time to do other things. You could still make 7-8 figures trading without necessarily being enslaved to the charts. You could use some other technologies around your workability to have this come to pass. So we'll be looking at the weekly trades for the month of January. Again, just a brief recap of what the weekly trade is all about. The weekly trades needs us to determine our bias, and the bias can be done. We'll get our bias. That can be done on the daily or the H4. For most of the discussion today, I will focus on the daily. Once you've gotten your bias on the daily, you just simply go to the week and try to find out when you have the high of the week for a sell or the low of the week for a buy. How do you know you have the high of the week? Today's high must be higher than yesterday's high. Condition number one. And then that high has to be the high of the week. Once we get a close below the highest bullish candle or any bearish candlestick pattern, in case you are not a new trader, you understand your bearish inside bar or your bearish dojis and the likes, then you take your trade using our fibs and then sell. Same for a buy. Again, I won't spend so much time explaining this. We have videos already. I just go straight to the chart and look at examples that we have last month. Right, again, so I typically want to look at USD pairs just because they have lower spread and can be traded comfortably around several brokers. That doesn't mean the strategy or pattern of thinking isn't compatible with other forms or other type of pairs. So, like I said, we'll be looking at the daily. So if I go to the daily time frame right now, I want to use the value line for my trend bias. The value line right now tells me that throughout the month of January, which is basically this block here, we're bullish. And how would we have known that? I only need to come to the chart and look at this non-repeating indicator. If it's green, I'm buying. If it's green, I'm buying. It's simple as that, right? So even in areas here where it looked like it was bearish and price was buying, well, we'll take some losses and no problem. But we'll also have had winners all through this drop down, right? So you could do this also on the H4. You could go to your H4 and then have this bias, you know, swinging sometime, selling sometime, buying. Whichever the case, just ensure you are trading the weekly trade setup pattern. And then let's go down to the lower time frame and see how AUDUSD played out for last month. So this last month, we were basically bullish on AUDUSD. So we'll be going down to 30 minutes right now on the beginning of January 2023, and we'll see how it played out. Again, I want to take inventory of what our results look like, just so at the end of this discussion, we will have a glimpse of what the account will look like at the end of the trading period. So we're starting with January 3rd. And January the 3rd, remember, we are what on the daily? On the daily, we're bullish. So January the 3rd happens to be a Tuesday. January the 3rd happens to be a Tuesday. So this is let's confirm. Again, let's confirm, right? January the 3rd is a Tuesday right here. So this is Tuesday. Tuesday, we want to buy from the low of the week. How do we know it is the low of the week? Number one, it has to take out Monday's low. This is Monday's low here. And I've added an indicator to this template, which we didn't add before. That indicates this horizontal lines you're seeing. So you notice that this line coincides, or rather, this is the low of the week at the Asia there. That line coincides with the low of the day, right? The low of the day. So this was the lowest point on Monday, and this was the highest point for Monday. Those points have been superimposed into the next day. It's as simple as that, right? So to get the low of the week, price must take out Tuesday's low, must take out Monday's low, and that happened here. I'm now waiting for a candlestick pattern to give me a buy. Price here took out the previous, the lowest bearish candle. We had a close above. That is my entry for the trade. So I draw my fib, and I'm in that trade at the touch of this candle. It takes me up all to TP7, but again, for the purpose of uniformity, I'll be stopping at TP5. So this happened on the 3rd. I do have 1 TP each for TP2 to TP5. So again, I'm practically done for the week. I'm done for the week, and I can take my work, except, of course, if I want to wait for another trade, that trade must come lower than this previous day. So I must have another low of the week, and that means it must take out Tuesday's low. Did we find that condition? Wednesday, no. Thursday, no. Friday, no. It didn't take out Tuesday's low, right? And so we are out of it. So Monday, we're still bullish. Monday must take out Friday's low. This is Friday's low here. Monday didn't take out Friday's low, but Tuesday took out Monday's low. Tuesday took out Monday's low. So once Tuesday takes out Monday's low, what do we wait for? Again, a close above, which happened on this large candle. And when we see that, what do? We set our sell limits, our buy limit as in this case, and we have TP1, TP2, TP3, TP4, and finally TP5 3 days later, right? There it is. So that's TP5 on Friday. Again, we got into this trade on the 10th of January. 10th of January, and we have all our TPs hit. And then we're done for that week, basically. Right, so we're back again on Monday. We need it to take out to give us the low of the week. Monday didn't take out Friday, so Monday cannot be the low of the week. Tuesday took out Monday, so Tuesday can be said to be the low of Tuesday, can be said to be the low of the week, right? Once it took out that low, we begin to look for reasons to buy. Here we have this bullish candle closing below the lowest bearish candle, and there we have our entry for the trade. Again, this gave us all up onto TP6 at the very next day, and this happened on the 17th. So 17th, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it took it up to TP5. So I'm basically done, right? You could do your back test if you are comfortable with higher TPs. I typically just want to get out and then go do something else with my time, right? So we're done for, we're not quite done for that week. We are not quite done for that week. That trade was on Tuesday. We had another low of the week on Thursday. We had another low of the week on Thursday. So if you are the type that really want to milk the market the more, once price traded below this, you'll be waiting for the close of the Asia. We always want to trade after Asia. We always want to trade after Asia. So there we have our Asia low, price closed above the lowest bearish candle here. We would have initiated a sell at about that point, or rather a buy, I beg your pardon, at that point. Again, price almost breached our stop loss. And if you feel it could have taken it out, no problem, you have a second entry. But at least based on this view, it's a win. And if it's a second entry, it's still a win. right? So this again took us up all to TP5. We have TP5 somewhere around here, and to have practically taken our TP5 2 days later on Monday. This is 19th of January. So on the 19th, we'll have another trade, 2 for that week. Seldom happens, but it does happen again. So we're done for that week, basically. Right, so here we are on Monday. Monday is in the low of the week, right? Because it didn't take out Friday's low. Tuesday didn't take out Monday's low. Wednesday didn't take out Tuesday's low. Thursday didn't take out. And basically, we had no low of the week on this particular week, right? So practically had no trade on AUDUSD that week. Yeah, so what about Monday? So Monday took out Friday's low and gave us an entry right about here. And that would have hit our stop loss. Right, that would have basically hit our stop loss on this down candle. And once that happened, we're into Asia. So we had a losing trade on the 30th. So go to the 30th. And here I'm going to add another column for stop loss. So on the 30th, right? Am I right? Yeah, 30th of January. We have stop loss hit 1. Then on the 31st of January, that gave us another low of the week because this day, Tuesday took out Monday's low. And there we had a close above the lowest bearish candle right about here. That was the close above the lowest bearish candle. And that is your trade. And again, you hit TP5 the very next day, and it kept going. So that practically ends up the month of January. That happens on the last day of January. So let's do our analysis together now. So depending on what type of trader you are, you would have hit your TP 5 times for 2R, 5 for 3, 4, and 5. And let's do the analysis, and you would have lost practically once. So let's do the math. For the sake of simplicity, we'll assume that you're risking 1% per trade. All right? We'll assume you're risking 1%. We're going to do the math in 2 ways. So the first one is one-off, 1 entry. Right? I typically don't advise you do 1 entry, but let's say you have 1 entry. What this means is that you hit your TP 5 times, right? If you hit your TP 5 times on 2R, you would have made 10R. So this is going to be equals to 2 times this. That's what that is. This is going to be equals to 3 times this, right? This is going to be equals to 4 times this. This equals to 5 times 5. So what 1 entry means is that you could decide that I'm going to have 1 entry, all of my 1% at once. And then when I hit 2R, I'll hit my TP and get out. That means you took 5 trades and then you made 10%. Then you took the 6th trade and then you lost 1%. Remember? 1 losing trade right about here. So that means you would have grown your account by 9%. If your risk was 1:3, you would have grown your account by 14%. If your risk is, if your TP point is 4R, you would have grown your account by 20%. And that means you would have grown your account by 20% on profit, and then you would have lost 1%. And that means you would have grown your account by 19% trading AUDUSD alone. And then, of course, for this, you would have grown your account by 24%. Again, this is phenomenal, right? If you want to use what I suggest, especially for those who are trying this method for the first time, I'll ask you to twin trade. So if you twin trade, it simply means that you're going to have two trades. Again, let's come to our board. You're going to have two trades. So in this case, we're buying. So you have trade A and trade B. Again, let's use something different. So the contrast will be there. Trade A and trade B. Your R is your stop loss. Right? So for the purpose of this illustration, let's say your stop loss is 30 pips. That is your R. Stop loss. So when price goes 60 pips, right, A closes. When price goes 120 pips, B closes, for instance, right? You could also do when A gets to 30 pips, A closes. When B gets to 90 pips, B closes. Whichever one. Again, if you've been following Simply Pips, I never insist that you must do it one way. We always give you options. You go do with what works for you. So if A goes 60 pips, it closes, right? Notice you are risking 1% in total. So that means you would have reached 0.5% here and 0.5% here. If the trade hits your stop loss, you lose 1%. If trade goes 2 times your stop loss, you would have made 1% on this trade. And if it goes 4 times your stop loss, you would have made 2% on that trade. So in total, you would have made 3%. The advantage of this method is that should price go to R, and if you were hoping that it would get to 5R, but price actually went to R and then made a U-turn for your SL, the first trade would have closed at 2 times your risk, which is 1%, and the second trade goes back to your stop loss and you lose 0.5%. You still grow your account by 0.5% in spite of the fact that it never got your intended 5R. The only time you get to lose and lose outrightly is once the trade goes straight to stop loss before hitting any of your TPs, right? So I hope you get this. Again, you can watch some of the videos on this 7-figure channel to get it. So let's say you're going for 2R. So if you're going for 2R and now you're risking 0.5%, it means you would have grown your account by 5% and not 10% here, all right? And then for 4R, again, what do we need to do? This is 5. This will be times 0.5 times 4. That gives us 10. I hope we get the gist now. 0.5 will give us 10%. So let's be sure that we have the maths correctly. Again, based on our analysis here, if I'm risking 1% of my account and I go 2R, I would have made 1%. If I go 4R, I would have made 2%. So come back. So 2% times 4R times 5 trades is 10%. Right? And I would have lost 1. So in total, I would have grown my account by 15%. And then I would have lost 1%. And then my account would have grown by a gross 14%, which is basically the same thing as 1:3. Again, remember what happened here, right? If you went 2 times, you make 1%. If you go 4 times you make 2%, 2 plus 1 is 3. So when you trade this way, you are effectively trading a 1:3 risk reward ratio, right? So if you have 15 here, 15 minus 1 will give you 14, which is the same thing you would have had if you were trading 1:3 risk reward ratio. However, this method might be easier on your psychology for instances where you have back-to-back stop losses, or for instances where you happen to fall into a ranging period, or when the trend is about to change and the market is indecisive, is neither going up or down vigorously, and you just ensure you play safe. However, what will give you more account growth will be the first entry. One entry might give you better account growth, but again, it can be detrimental to your psychology where you have back-to-back losses or times when trades are not moving that well. I haven't done this online. I only do it for the guys in the fostering program, but I will do this here. You might decide, I don't want to trade on the D1 basis bias. I want to trade on a H4 bias. We're going to look at AUDUSD on a H4 bias. I personally trade H4 and D1 bias simultaneously, right? So I'm able to catch some buys in a downtrend, and I'm able to catch some sells in an uptrend. Again, everything is on weekly trades. So let's look at H4 and see how this would have played out. All right, so I'm going to take out all the objects here. And then I'll go back down to H4 time frame. Then we'll look at the month of January on the H4 time frame. So right about here, we were bullish. So I'm going to use a green line, vertical line, to delineate bullishness, right? So I will move this here. We're bullish also on this from here, right? Basically from the next candle, right? And that's that. And then we became bearish somewhere here. So I'll use an orange red to delineate sells, and then it also became bearish here. Right, so this is what I've done. I'm now going to go back to 30 minutes, and I will trade based on these biases. It's as simple as that, right? So let's go down to 30 minutes. Of course, the last part is how I trade, how I mix H4 and D1, but I'm not going to disclose that in this webinar. So let's go down to M30 and then look at how would I traded this using the H4. So basically on H4, remember we took this trade, we would have been bullish on this day. So practically we'll be having the same results here. Right, we'll have the same results for third. Are we still bullish on the 10th? Yes, we're still bullish on the 10th. So we'll have the same result as with the daily. We'll have the same result as with the daily. 17th, we are still bullish, guys. 17th, we are still bullish. So we'll have the same result as with the daily bias. All right. What about then from 19th, we were bearish. So what that simply means is that we wouldn't have caught this buy that we caught using the daily time frame. So for 19th, it will be blank here. Right? We would have been hoping from this point to get the high of the week and then to sell. Unfortunately, this happened to be a Thursday. Then we had Friday. So here we have Friday. Friday, we're waiting for Monday, we're waiting for the previous day's high to be breached, which happened here. And then we would have had a reason to sell right about here. Right, again, so we set limits. We would have been triggered. Price broke beneath the highest bullish candle. We set our sell limits. We were triggered, TP1, TP2, 4 straight hit. Boom, price goes opposite direction. Now we have a practical example of why twin trading makes sense. So on this particular day, on the 23rd, we were attempting to sell because we're trading our bias from H4, right? So on the 23rd, we're attempting to sell, and we didn't really make, what we just made was 0.5%, right? We made 0.5%. So I'll put that somewhere there so we can refer to it later, right? It hit our TP, two. Remember, hit our TP2, then we lost part of it. That's 0.5% basically, right? So we're still bearish, guys, right? We're still bearish. Here again, we see price taking out the previous day's high, and that gives us high of the week again on the H4, right? Again, at the end of Asia, here we have reason to sell, right? Close beneath. Again, let me clear our doubts. Let's go back and check clearly if we really got a close beneath. Yeah, we did get a close beneath here. We did get a close beneath. Now I'm going to show you guys a trick. Come here to your view and click on data window. When I come to this candle, the low of this candle, the bullish candle there, is at 0.70411. And in case you are wondering where I got it from, this is high and low that I'm looking at here, right? Right here. See that there. Okay. So the low of this candle is at 0.70411. The close of this candle is at 0.70414. So which is lower, right? We have 414 here, 411 here. This is not, this is where we got a close beneath, right? So again, we have a close beneath here. Price came, really didn't touch our trade, and then hit our stop loss. So then we would have had one losing trade on the 24th. So 24th, it was a losing trade flat out. So let's copy this here. 24th was a flat out losing trade. Great. Okay. So once that happened, we returned back to being bullish, right? Now agreeing with the H4, with the daily, right? It now agrees with the daily. And I think if you remember, we never really got a reason to buy throughout all of this week. And then we became bearish here. Now, because we became bearish on the H4, the buys that we got here, we wouldn't have gotten that buy, right? Yep. I think we would have lost a trade here. This was a Monday. It took out Fridays. Then they would have attempted a buy here on the 30th and lost. I think the same thing happened for, yeah, exactly. So the same thing happened for daily. And then on our H4, we wouldn't have been looking for buys, we would have been looking for sells. So we'll be looking for a scenario where price forms the high of the week, and that will be formed when price takes out Monday's high, right? Monday's high. And that scenario would have played out somewhere around here for this sell to the downside. This sell to the downside. Basically, this would have been our trade, right? To sell to the downside. Again, this is just to allow you to see how you could mix H4 and H daily. I don't really care what one you use. I prefer the daily because I don't change my bias to it easily. But when I lost some proper count last year, I decided to mix both. So what it does is that when we're in a trend, most times the H4 and the daily will align. When we are ranging, you have discrepancies between the H1 and the daily. But I'll show you what I guess I inadvertently placed a trade here. To delete that. So I'll show you what that does for me here. So when I'm trading and I have something like this, the daily is still bearish. The H4 could be bullish somewhere around here. So I'm still able to catch some small buys before I take a sell. And once in a while the trend is changing, I'm both in a buy and a sell. Again, who cares? I could take a buy. I've hit my TP2. I'm somewhere around TP3. Then I get a sell. I take the sell, right? If it comes back and hit my stop loss here, I'll only have lost 0.5. In fact, I would have made 0.5, not lost. And then I would have made 3R from the sell trade, right? So basically, that's how it works. You could actually merge the two, but I won't be discussing how that can be done here. Right, so one more thing I'll say before we proceed. I prefer twin trade because I trade prop accounts. There's a limit to the amount of losses I could incur trading for a prop account, right? On an average, I can't go beyond 10% drawdown or outright loss. So even though one entry seems to give better results, it might not be sustainable on a long time because you could have back-to-back losses. And if you're trading more than one pair, it could be dangerous. If you're trading just one pair, no problem. So basically, that's how you play with, H1 and H4. I intended to do all of the USD pairs, but again, we don't have the time. I didn't want this recording to be too long, but let's do NZD USD and then we'll call it a wrap here. All right, so we'll go to NZD USD. NZD USD will basically do the same thing with, mostly the same thing with NU. So let's pick GU. GU sometimes has a mind of its own. So let's see what happened to GU. Go to daily. We'll take out all of this. All right, so on the daily also, we were basically bullish on daily for the month of January. We're basically bullish. So what does that imply? It means we go to M30 and begin to look for higher low of the weeks to buy for the month of January. So we're starting from the 3rd month of January. Here we are on the 3rd. This is GBPUSD. You could also do this on 1 hour, right? You don't have to do this on 30 minutes. You could do this on 1 hour. So this happened to be Friday, Monday, beg your pardon. This was Friday. Yeah, so this is Tuesday. Tuesday basically took out Friday low here, and then you have the lowest bearish candle here, and then you have your trade somewhere around here. Unfortunately, you were not picked. You were not triggered into this trade. This was a missed opportunity. It could be very painful, right? But on Thursday, you got another signal, right? Because Thursday took out Tuesday's low. Tuesday, ab initio, was the low of the week. Thursday came back and took out Tuesday. So you'd have had one trade like this, right? That would have hit your stop loss outrightly. And then you get another. And this would have paid off up to TP8 instantaneously, same day, right? So let's put in our entries. We had a losing trade on 5th of January, and we had a winning trade on the 6th of January for GU. So GU 5th of January was a losing trade. Fifth of January was a losing trade. And 6th of January was an outright win. Was an outright win. All right, so Monday, the next day, no low of the week, no low of the week. Monday's low, this is the low of the week, the lowest point of the week so far. And that's the lowest point of the week. Price needs to take out. Price took out on Wednesday, price took out Tuesday's low, but that wasn't the low of the week because Monday's low was much lower than Tuesday's low. So we keep waiting, and price never really came back for that trade. If depending on the broker you're using, if you're using some other brokers, price might have triggered you in much earlier because here we have a gap, right? But again, let's leave that. We don't have to force the strategy to work. You missed the trade, go do something else with your time. Next time, here we are on Monday. Monday didn't take out Tuesday's low. Here we are. Sorry, Monday didn't take out Friday's low. Tuesday took out Monday's low and therefore became the low of the week. And that is your trade. Right? Basically had your TP5 the very next day. And this is 17th of January. Basically. The next day we're here. Monday took out Friday's low, low of the week. So here we are, lowest bearish candle. Price came back at the close, never really came back, and the day closed. You close your limit at the close of the day. Next day we are here Tuesday, and if you leave your limit, it will simply take a stop loss and then you re-enter again. You decide what you want to do. Next day is Tuesday. We're here. Price came below Monday's low again, giving us a new low of the week on Tuesday. Here we have the close above, right? We have the close above. Unfortunately, it didn't pick you out, except you are one of those who leave your limits till the next day. And if we decide to say you leave your limit the next day, then it simply meant we would have left our limit to the next day here. And that simply means we would have lost a trade on 23rd and then won it on the 25th, or we wouldn't have had a trade at all. Choose the one you want, right? Choose wherever you want. Whichever the case, you either would have made money or just simply left money on the table. You wouldn't have lost, right? So this happened to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no new low of the week. Monday, we have another low of the week happening towards the close of business. Right? Again, if you follow that same format, you would have had, if you set your limit and take a walk, you'd have had a losing trade here. You're allowed to have 2 tries a week. So here you have a day, I beg your pardon. So the first time here you had a losing trade, and then you had another, let's repeat that. You have a losing trade. The losing trade is actually hit your stop loss here. Once you hit your stop loss, you look for another entry. you look for another entry, and there you have this entry, right? And it would have gone for your stop loss second time. So on the 31st, you would have had 2 losing trades on GU. 31st, 2 losing trades, and that gives you 2. Unfortunately, I didn't take note of the winning trades, but you could of course rewind and go back. You still would have had at least a break even or even a winning month with GBPUSD. I'd like to stop here because I don't think we'll have the time to go through Euro USD and even NZD USD. But here is the deal. I used to be a banker, and I worked sometimes over 12 hours a day. I wanted to be free. I saw trading as a means of being free. But along the line, I discovered that I was beginning to become a slave to the charts. I was practically on the charts from morning till night, and I needed to do something about it. So I decided to look for a strategy that will not keep me on the charts all day. You only need to, if you look at these setups, you would have taken on all the USD pairs on my screen, you might have taken maybe 20 trades the whole month, right? You might have taken 20 trades the whole month. And like I said, you could try this on practically anything, CAD JPY or something. Let's see, right? All you want to do is ensure you have freedom, right? We've created the Fidica social commerce. I just posted a video about an hour ago on that. You could go watch if you want to, like saying TP Smash, see how I'm doing, and you want to flash your PP and everything to everybody to see, fine, please go do that, right? But I believe just make the money, take care of your family, help those you could help, and move on, right? But we're creating something that looks like Naira Land, that looks like Jumia, where you could sell your stuff, or let me say Udemy. It also it has a social media, social connect type of stuff. We have room for tutors to come in, something like it. You could sell things, you could discuss different topics, Forex inclusive. We're holding a class to cover digital marketing, content creation, even writing, right? The instructor for our writing does well over $2,000 per month just writing for people. By the way, if you've not checked out ChatGPT, you will need to check it out. It will help you if you're a content creator. We hope that we'll create a bigger community. The essence here is to make a living, make money in a seamless way. And it's turning out by my experience, that some people are not just cut out to trade. They are too bent on making money that they allow their emotions destroy whatever profit they've made. For those, ensure you have another source of income, then come back to trading. And that's why I decided to pipe you a little bit and say, look, guys, can we try something else? If you are a busy professional, weekly trades might just be it. If I have up to 100 likes on this video, I'll show you how you could do weekly trades even easier by using DXY, which is the dollar index. But let's look at CAD JPY. Here we have CAD JPY in the month of December. We're basically bearish, or rather January, we're basically bearish. We could even start from the month of November, we're bearish. High of the weeks meant you'll be selling from all of these highs. You'll be selling from all of these highs, that's what it means. You'll be selling from all of these highs. I mean, it's that simple. Go down, so that I won't waste so much time. Let's go down to 30 minutes, right? And you can basically see this is high of the week. Monday took out Friday's high of the week, right? Look at it again. Wednesday took out Monday's high of the week, sell. I mean, it's interesting. There's no reason why you shouldn't try this out if you want to have save time and more time. Lastly, my last thought on this, you can't do this strategy without looking at the workability. So how would you know when prices have got to the high of the week? I think we have a video on that on YouTube. I might not have the time to look for it, but if any of you finds a video where we'll talk about workability, how to set alerts using trader assist and other things, please post the link underneath this video. If you like the video, please like. If you don't like it, just click on the unlike button twice just to be sure. Thank you guys, and let's have a wonderful week.